Hey people, I found this image the other day, and when I saw it, I knew it went with the Ten Commandments. And by the time we get to the seventh line, there's going to be no doubt. And you could tell it came from the Book of the Dead, because they're swaying up over here the works of truth and what they call the heart. And I believe this is more of the Ka, the soul, the JK. And so if this video is fairly short, it's just a test run to see if it was legible. And if it runs long, then I added it on and finished it up. But by the time we get to the seventh line, there's going to be no doubt that this is both the Greek and the Hebrews explaining this picture in the Ten Commandments, Exodus 20. So I'm not the first person that come up with this. There was a genius poet in the 1700s that said the same thing as me, and his books was banned. You never heard of them. But I'm going to leave you a link to this Hore Lyrica. It's a free ebook. You can read it online. And you read his preface, and he'll go on to tell you what he thinks about what the Christian church has done to the book to hide it. And he gets pretty vile with what he says about what they've done for the sole purpose of the scorn of rudder, to rudder the herd, to steer the herd of mankind. So it's a book of old English poetry, and just like the Bible, he'll leave the clues in there in misspellings, and he was very fluent in all the ancient languages. You'll see a couple phrases in there in Old Greek and Hebrew, and you can see here it's all written like this: the heaven rules the waves and thunders o'er the lands, and creates inferior kings and gives them their commands. The legions attend thee. And you'll see in the Ten Commandments, this legions, this is the Greek word for the commandments. So Google Hebrew letter meaning chart and download and get you a paper copy of this to sit with you, and until you got all this memorized. And don't worry about the spiritual. This is what they added on there to try to change the meaning. But all the meanings of the words are in the picture. And the A is, you can add knowledge there, knowledge and power. And this Vav, a lot of time you just say to is connected to. And you use the word to. And on this Tazadi, make sure that you add plants in there. It means plants many times, and side and plants, and you'll have enough information to read the Bible. So on the oldest Bibles, you'll find this word at the beginning, and what this says is the cipher from the wash in the receipts. And this they say this means Moses, but all the way through the Bible it doesn't. It means art. It means colors. A cipher from the wash, from the paint in receipt, in the writings that are carved in the wall, the color in the paints, the color of the paints, the cipher from the colors in the writings in the carved in the wall. And that's what this is. There's different writings, but these are the ones that's carved in, or you could tell here that they were laid on the wall. This was an old brick wall, and they laid a thin layer of mud and they etched this in. It wasn't carved in stone. And this is the key of the cipher of the receipts here. So when I was a kid, I would go to my buddy's grandma's house, and she would collect all these little cats, and they was all about the same size, but they all had a little bit of different feature. She called them her carios. Stay away from my carios. And they all had a meaning to her. And she could tell you the meaning. And my mom, my grandma, she was a Native American, and she didn't collect cats. She collected chickens in the same way. And they all had a meaning. I got this when Grandpa gave me this one for our 40th wedding anniversary, and Aunt Hattie Mae brought me this back from her trip to the Holy Land, and these were all her carios, and so that would be the Lords. These are their carios, and you see it here on the beginning to the Allah in the Greek over here, to the Allah lease, to the lease. They're just holding. They're just leasing. They don't own. They're not the ownerships of the lordship. They're just leasing that spot. The carios, to the Allah carios, and this carios, that's the one that the Greeks gave the meaning lords. So when it says lords in your Bible, this is what it's talking about, is the carios, and it's talking about a representation of a quality, of different qualities of the Lord. So we see it start here in this is Exodus 21. It begins here, and it says to make dibber. And so all the different words they have for language, this dibber is positioning, a language of position. It's talking about numbers, and you can call this the Alaham God if you want, but when you see the A, it means it reads backwards, and it's my Allah, and this God has been given a meaning to mean my life-buying knowledge, or my life-buying power, and so God is the knowledge that was held up in this poet's head, in Thoth's head, to make the dibber of my Allah. So this A is a part of punctuation. There's 4 punctuations in the Bible, and we're going to see all 4 of them in these first couple lines. But this A is a punctuation telling you to read this backwards, and this dash is punctuation telling you to read this backwards first and then forward, using this end letter E only once. And then these dots at the end are they're a period, and it's telling you that's the end of that sentence. And you'll see over here on 3, you won't see it. They didn't put it in there, and that's not a mistake. And you see it again. It happens a couple times here, and you see it. You can see it here where on the first line you'll see the period, the end of the sentence. It's right up close. It's in the position of the next letter, and then this S means that there's the seal. There's a picture that went with this line. And you see it close here, and then you see on 3 that it stepped out 1 letter, and this means that they added this as they saw fit in order to make this fit. And you'll see it twice here on 3. It stepped out 1 letter, and then on the end of 4 here you'll see it stepped out 1 letter, and that's because it wasn't there in the original. They just added this in order to get their interpretation. And you'll see it here at the end of the line 4. It wasn't there, and this is their mark where they added it to make it fit. And this would be the 4th punctuation mark here. This wall, and this wall is what really trips you out, because it's telling you to read all this and then read this backwards until the next punctuation. And so being that this punctuation wasn't here, they kind of fool you because it reads farther past this 4. When you read here, you read it all the way backwards, back to 3, all the way to the beginning of 3, until you see this next punctuation that was actually here on the end of 2. So if you look close at these karyos up here, they appear the same, but they're not. They have a different color. Every 4th one has the same color. So you have 4 different colors, top and bottom. You see them stagger here, and the heads are all a little bit different. And what you have here is Ashar, or the Usher, or Rasha, depending on your knowledge of the reading. If you know when to read backwards, this is Rasha, but it would be Ashar or Ashar. This represents the letter A, and then you have 21 more. And these represents these 21 other. They're 22 Hebrew alphabet. The A and 21 more letters. And so what this saying is to make dibber from my God, my Allah, to claim the rebudum, RBD, the rebud of the dibberum. And then see, this Allah starts with the E, so it'll read this way. This was the Allah. This was the one meaning God, not this one. And then Lamar, the bind words. The AMR was the words. You usually see it as Yammer, YAMR, the Yammer. And this is the LAMR. This is the bind words. And these are, and you can read this as commands, as legion. These are the commands. And you see it here in the Greek. This is key. And they just, sometimes it's in the middle of a word, and what it does, it replaces this vav, which was a letter of a key. It's a key to hold your wheel on. And so they just spelled it out key, but when you see it, it says and, it sometimes it means and, but sometimes it just means to. It means connected, and sometimes it's a W and goes with the next letter, as in we. We learn the lease of the karyos. We learned the lease of the karyo paints to use the logos taught to us. And this, they're always playing with the words, taught to us. And the teacher of the language was taught to us, taught to us the legion. The legion is command. And if you're over a command of soldiers, that's your legion. That's your command. So back up here to the Hebrew. To make dibber, to make location, or to make the number of my Allah, my knowledge, to claim the rebud of the dibberum, or the dibber of the number form. And it's because you're claiming the rebud, because it's constantly changing. As the time goes, it constantly changes. Of the Allah, the all. This is the real God, the God of all, of command. So over here on 2, where it says, I, Yahweh, your God, or I am the Lord, your God. But if you read it, this is read backwards. It says icon. An icon is an image. I can make you kill. And so that's what it sounds like, and it's made like that. The whole book's like that to tease the words. But it says the icon to make you the keel. The keel is the backbone. The icon to make the keel, to make you the keel. The Rasha, the Ashar, the Rasha, the first one, the letter A. The Rasha, the backbone of the knowledge, is. And you see this word that says brought you out of the land is actually EVXATIK. So you can see the word evicts and exit in there, and so brought you out is off, because it's more is to evict, the eviction march. It's the comedy story that's supposed to be in the Bible was being kicked out of Egypt, from the serum. The Rasha, the evictic, the one to evicts, the one to take out. And this march, in Greek, this X, they give it the CH, so it would be March. Or Mars. Mars is the god of war and agriculture. And you see it down here in this ag, hidden in this word, this agagon. The evixit of the march from the serum. From the serum, this you see the MX, the mix of rhyme. From the serum. A serum is the mixture. From what the mixed up. From the bite. From the bite of Obidum, of the OBD form, from the bite. And so this bite has several meanings. And so, and this is a bite. If you're on a board of a ship and you tie an anchor to this, and you put your foot in here, and you throw that anchor overboard, the standing part, the long part of this line is going to create enough friction to tie a knot around your leg, and you're going to go meet Davy Jones at the bottom of the ocean. This is a bite, and this is also a bite here. This represents is the bite. This is also the bite in ancient writings. When you would send a letter to make sure the recipient knew it was you, you would put some wax on the seal and you would bite it. You would leave your one-of-a-kind teeth prints around the bite. It's telling you the read around the bite, and it's still used. It's still used on your money today. There's codes in your money, in the bite, in the liberty, in the binds to make in the first tie. And even in God we trust isn't what you think. It's in to lift, to see through the wet rust. And this looks like mercury here, and the wet rust is iron oxide, and that means the red. And this is your Obadiah, your obedience. You can see they're chained, and this is the I and the house and the D, the I and the D. The Obidum, the Obid form. And they use this magic. It's on your money every day, and you don't even realize that it's a magic spell in order for money to come right back to the creator, those creators of the money. So this Hebrew is original. The people that did this wrote this, and they understood fully. And it just takes a couple letters and they can get the meaning out. And the Greeks come back and they had interpretation for it. And they already had words for some of these pictures. And that's why it changes. But it's still the same language. And you can see it change here. The ego of the Jimmy, the curios, to see those, the washes, the colors, to oust. To see the colors. So the ego is the foot end. And so at the foot end of the carios of the jimmies, these are all the jimmies up here is what they call them. The jimmies, and that's the days in the Hebrew. But at the foot end over here is Ashar, so they're still pointing to the same thing. They're pointing you to the beginning, but they're saying it in a different way because they did have a different language started there when they came to read this. The egos of the Jimmy, the foot end of the Jimmy Curios, to see the wash, to oust, The same as to evict, to oust the secrets, to oust. That there's two S's in the Greek too, same as the Hebrew. There's two different S's, or three if you're counting the X, and four if you're counting the Z, which is sometime an S. But this is the S is secrets, the one that's drawn like a Djed pillar. The wash, the colors, to oust. So they knew what they were doing. They were reading the colors. To oust the secrets, to divide the secrets of the Hagagon. So the colors, to oust the Shagagon, to seek Jis of the age, to Patu. So the shag is to collect. If we're going out to have batting practice, I'm gonna send somebody out there to go shag the balls out there in the field. To shag on, to seek Jis, and gist is that's a big old clue here. And so a gist is it's got two meanings, and that's what they're doing. They're separating the two meanings: the essence of speech, or the point of action. To seek the gist, to get the right gist, the right essence of the speech or the point of action. To age, to patah. So you see this this Egypt, and there was no such thing as Egypt until King James invented it. But this you'll often see it written as the Ice Age gypsies. They were the people who came down the last ice age, and they came to take over Egypt looking for a warmer home. And so the Greeks were calling them the Ice Age gypsies. But this is to seek the gist, the essence of the speech. In the age, to patu. The patu as in patina, the colors, the different. And it was older then, and the colors weren't so bright, but the age of the patina would tell the secrets of the weak, to see to the dew layers, the dualies. You got two wheels on the back end of your truck. You're driving a dually. You got the two layers, and it's and what it's doing is it's teaching you. It'll teach you how to take one color out and then read what you got, and what's left over would be the jara. The jara. You do your first work, the jaro, and then what's left over is the jara, what's been allowed to remain. So I'm going to cut this off. This is the short version, and I just want to load this and see if it's all going to be legible before I waste time doing the whole thing. So just like the Hore Lyrica, I've been banned by the European Union, so I need everybody to share this, because I want to get this out to as many people, because I don't want just the wrong people reading this, because the wrong people get this information and the right ones don't. Things aren't going to get any better. They're just going to get worse. So everybody give this a share. I want to see at least 20 shares by the end of the day. All right, I'll see y'all later with the rest of this. Thanks, folks.